Okay, so this is just going to be an easy, quick tutorial on how to set up your Line 6 FBV Mark II expression pedal with the neural DSP plugins in Standalone, and in this case in Reaper, but I'm sure this, if you follow the setup, it should work in other DAWs just fine. So the first thing you need to do when you get the unit is, I'll leave this link in the description, but you need to go to their website and download two different softwares. So you go down to choose hardware, and in this case it is the, let's see if we could find it, FBV Express Mark II, not the shortboard. Choose your software. So you're going to get two of them. Line 6 Monkey, and that's basically just going to check for updates and make sure that the unit works with your computer correctly. So download that. And then also Line 6 FBV Control. Doesn't matter which order you do it in, and make sure that you just download for the right software you have on your computer. Mine's Windows 10, so that's what I got. So when you download those two, next step is to calibrate the pedal. I'm not going to go over how to do that now. You can just look in the manual. It's very simple. So you just calibrate the board, and once you have those two downloaded and the board's calibrated, then you can go ahead and open up Line 6 FBV Control. Now for me, I don't know if this is just my computer, but if the unit's plugged in, when I try to open this, it just will not open. It'll just stay like this forever until I restart my computer. So give that a second to open up. All right, so now it'll say this unassigned everything, which is obvious because nothing's plugged in. So now I will plug the unit into my computer, give it a second to load up, and I'm just going to click no because I don't want to save a bunch of patches that don't exist. So yours is not going to look like this when you first plug it in, but you're going to want to set it up to mirror this exactly to make this work in the plugin. So Midi CC here for A should be 64 with momentary, and so on and so on. This is just the settings that you need to have for it to work. So you need to pause the video just to make sure that everything matches. Like these four should be momentary. These, the expression pedal and the channel volume on switch mode, are just going to default to pedal, which is fine. So switch should be toggle. But make sure that the CC number over here, these are matching this for it to work correctly. So then you could just, I would save this as your patch, but then you could just get rid of this. I'm just going to click no because every time it asks me if I want to save it for some reason. So I'll open up, I guess, Petrucci. Sure. Okay. So now say, right now it's on the volume setting. It doesn't really matter which one you do it on, but I just like matching the volume pedal with the volume setting on the pedal just because it makes sense. So we'll right click, actually before I do that, go down to settings and make sure that your MIDI input device is selected to the FBV Express Mark II. Once you do that, you can right click on whatever it is you want to set, enable MIDI learn, and move the pedal, and now you have a volume pedal. So now if you go up here, hit the toe switch and move it to the wah setting, you can come over here and same thing, right click, enable MIDI learn, move the pedal, and now you have a wah pedal. Now to activate it, you can just either click that, or you can again right click it and enable MIDI learn, and say we'll just assign that to A to turn on the wah. But what you'll see happens is it's not staying on. So you need to go to MIDI mapping and CC absolute wah active, change that to CC toggle. So that now when you press it once, it stays on and off. And that goes the same thing for other pedals. So say we're going to do it with the compression pedal, enable MIDI learn. See, it doesn't stay on, so really easy. CC absolute for compressor active, change that to toggle. So now you can turn on and off pedals with just one button. And say I wanted to assign this preset to one of the buttons. So if I'm playing on a different preset and then I want to switch to this one, I'll enable MIDI learn. I'll make it C, and now you can see with that right there, that means that it's assigned to a MIDI. So that's how you do it in the Standalone. Now in Reaper, it's a little bit different, but it's still really simple. So first thing you'll do is go to Options, Preferences, Audio, and then MIDI devices. Find the FBV Express Mark II, double click it, and make sure that Enable Input from this device and Enable Input for control messages are both checked off. You can click OK, then click Apply, and then OK. So now you're all set up for that. Open up 2 tracks, enable recording for both of them. The top one is going to be your guitar. So I guess I'll do Gojira for this one. So say we want to assign MIDI to the whammy pedal. So what we'll do is I'll move this out of the way. On the second track, change the input to MIDI, choose the FBV Express, and go all channels. Now you need to make this a folder, and I would make this the last of the folder, just so if you're going to have more tracks down here, they don't get sucked into this. And now you can see when I move the pedal, it's receiving MIDI information. So now I can do the same thing as the Standalone, right click, enable MIDI learn, move the pedal, and then it works. Sometimes in Reaper it takes 1 to 2, maybe 3 tries to do that, and if it does, you can just right click again, click stop or disable MIDI learn, and then just do it again, and then it should work. But that is how you set that up in Reaper. And then when you record, they'll both record. So the top one will be your audio and the bottom will be your MIDI information. So just make sure that when you're cutting up guitar tracks that you leave the MIDI portion in the same spot as the guitar spot. And that's how you set that up in both. Also, this does not come, the unit does not come with a USB cable, so I'll leave the one that I got in a link in the description. But that's how you set this up in Standalone and in Reaper.